Jaya Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Baradari Jaya Giri Baradari Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Baradari Jaya Giri Baradari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranga, 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 Jaya Gauranga. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev. Jai Shri Radha Madhava ki, Shri Gauritai ki, Jai Guru Shri Prabhupada ki, Gopi Manande. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayang Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanang pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalang pangum langaite girim yat kripatamam vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So how was lunch? It's okay? Feeling any pressure to be more humble? Prasadam has that powerful effect. It makes everyone very submissive. So we hope we don't have you extra submissive for the next hour. Our topic is the impossible order. We want to look at Srila Prabhupada's accomplishment in starting this movement. We want to look at, first, who is Prabhupada and where is he picking up such an order? What has led him to start this movement? So that we, again, remind ourselves of his special position in the lives of the devotees. So before Srila Prabhupada had ventured to America, he was also once a young man, like most of you. And young men have many aspirations. Women also have their aspirations. Srila Prabhupada, we find in the early 20s that he is inspired by the movement of Mahatma Gandhi. He's a revolutionary. He wants to free India from British rule. Most of you here are from Britain. And at the same time, you have your roots in India. So it may be an interesting position, which I want to investigate during this retreat as I talk to you, to learn what is your experience. How does this influence your mood and how you show up in the world? Srila Prabhupada is true to the spirit of the time, that we want a future for ourselves and we want a voice in the world. However, the circumstances around them seems that the future is already locked in. It's been predetermined. How much they can rise has already been ordered by an external environment run by the British. But before Srila Prabhupada enters the scene, we are hearing that the Lord has his own desires. Lord Krishna has his desires. He wants to deliver all the fallen souls. This is his mission. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya duskritam. He wants to please the devotees. He wants to protect them, deliver them from demons and obstacles to their progress in spiritual life. So Lord Krishna is said to have observed that in Srimati Radharani exists a joy that he had not experienced. And he was curious. They say that between the ages of 18 and 22 is where a person is most curious, as if there's a window that opens where one is looking for information to form a worldview. What will I commit to for my life? And that's why we do a lot of outreach in colleges and high school. We're finding though that uni, the window is almost closed. That now actually if you went to high school, this is the better place where people have informed very solid ideas of what life is. So the Lord understood that Srimati Radharani has a joy that he doesn't know of, and he was curious and he was interested to experience that. So this curiosity in Lord Krishna results in him plundering the heart of Srimati Radharani, who will not give her particular favor of love to Krishna, because she knows that her love makes her quite vulnerable, drives her mad, and she doesn't want to see Krishna go through all that she goes through because of her love. See the glory of her love. So Krishna, he will not take no for an excuse. He will not take that Radharani is not willing to give. So it's said by our acharyas that he plunders her heart, he steals that mood. And basically he wants to understand what is the glory of her love. And particularly what is it about him, what are those qualities in him that she alone relishes by that love. And at the same time, he also wants to come and distribute that type of love. So Krishna is very munificent, that he wants the best of the best quality of love, but he also wants to distribute that which he hankers for to all of us. So the brother has love for us. We cannot accuse him of not loving us. This is Shri Krishna. So we get Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's Radha Krishna Naya Anya. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, combined feature of Radha and Krishna. Because Radha Bhava Jyoti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. It is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is now enriched and enveloped in the mood and complexion of Srimati Radharani. This is Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And from Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has issued this command, this order. Prithiviteyache yati nagaradigram savatra pracha hoibe moranam. He is saying that in every town and village, his name will be chanted. And Mahaprabhu has appeared in Mayapur, and the whole world will chant his name. Even within Navadvip, within Mayapur, within the Indian subcontinent, people didn't accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prakashananda Saraswati in Benares, he said this Chaitanya is a sentimentalist. He's a sannyasi, but he's chanting and dancing in the streets. He should be studying Vedanta like other sannyasis. The people of Navadvip were absorbed in enjoying household life. It said that they were absorbed in so much merriment, they were doing weddings even for their pets and animals like this. So that's when things have really gone south. Nowhere was heard the name of Krishna being chanted. So the Vaishnavas were suffering because they understood that there is no cure for the disease of material existence save and except in the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared there, his associates had already appeared, and he began the Sankirtan movement. We chant the glories of Gauranitai as Sankirtana Pitaro. They are the fathers of the Sankirtan movement. They relish this holy name, which is Enechia Sodi Maya Nasibaralago. the medicine for curing the disease of Kali Yuga. So, quality control, you can say, at the house of Shiva's Thakur. They were testing and tasting this cure for the disease of Maya. They had Sankirtan throughout the night for many, many months. And then finally, they decided now they can flood society with this holy name. Still, it was seen that not many wanted to chant. In fact, when people heard the Harinam party coming, they tried to flee. And it said this wave of love of God was engulfing all of Navadvip, West Bengal, and people were fleeing, but then they were getting caught up. And as they were drowning, they were crying out for rescue. We're drowning, somebody help us. And Gornitai were acting like lifeguards. Yes, yes, we will save you. And they will swim and come to the person who's drowning. They would grab them and drown them even more. So how they rescue us from the ocean of material suffering is that they drown us in the ocean of Sankirtan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying this name was spread in every town and village across the world. Yet in his own village, still others are not chanting. How will this come to pass? When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had left the world, then we see that even descendants of associates of Mahaprabhu, the descendants of Advaita Acharya, they had a deviant understanding of who Lord Chaitanya was and what his process was. And apasampradayas, deviant lines of teachings, grew. And for hundreds of years, this part of Braj Bhakti, as taught by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was practically lost. The Vaishnavas were considered debauched and low-class people. Sentimentalists was even a compliment at the time. It was just sis, they say in South Africa, like when I spit on you, puh, you're a Vaishnava. Ugh. It was not considered at all, and these apasampradayas gained prominence. And so many people were being misled by following these apasampradayas. So to follow a deviant philosophy in the name of real religion, Bhagavatam gives a nice understanding that like one taking a dive head first into a shallow river. It's so much fun, huh? It's practically suicide, like you are knowingly or unknowingly drinking poison. So the hearts of the devotees were always breaking. Then we have our Acharya Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who Srila Prabhupada himself said that he is the founder of the Hare Krishna movement in the modern age. He's dubbed the sixth Goswami, because for Mahaprabhu were six main students, the six Goswamis. They discovered the pastime places of Krishna in Vrindavan. They built the temples there, they excavated places of pilgrimage. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipono Sadhama Samstapako Lokanamita Karino Tribhuvane Manyo Saranya Karo. They studied all the Vedic literature and extracted the essence. Because in Kali Yuga, who has the lifespan, who has the brain power to study the Vedas? Who has the taste? Who understands Sanskrit? Who has the devotion to actually understand the essence of the scriptures? And so their compassion for the world was that they absorbed themselves and they churned out the Vedas and extracted the essence. However, still their influence stayed within the Indian subcontinent. And now, in the modern era, we have Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is a highly educated personality, magistrate. He has a big family. Anyone here who knows any family with 8 children? I met one disciple of Srila Prabhupada in Germany. Jai Gaura Prabhu, he's a hero. He has more than that, I think like 10, yeah? But you try to think where you come from. If you see a family with 5 or 6 kids, it's rare. Bhaktivinoda Thakur had such a full house, and then he had such a demanding job. However, he also had the spirit of finding a cure for the problems of society. Initially, he was attracted to Western writers. In fact, he says he was attracted to the message of Lord Jesus Christ. However, eventually, he was attracted to the message of the Vaishnavas. And when he became more serious about finding out the message of the Vaishnavas, he was looking for Chaitanya Charitamrita. He could not find Chaitanya Charitamrita in West Bengal. It's a Bengali literature about Bengali saint or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you can understand what was going on at that time, that not even a single copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita was to be found. But by the arrangements of the Lord, he found one copy in Orissa, and by studying Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he became even more convinced that the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the message that would deliver the world from the influence of Kali Yuga. Therefore, he prepared a book to send to the Western countries, the life and precepts of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote very prolifically. He understood Sanskrit, Arabic, Persian language use, Bengali. And his desire was to fulfill Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order. Let my name be chanted in every town and village. So somebody had to get the word to every town and village. So he thought the West, the current leading paradigm, everybody's aspiring, even within India, to emulate the Western societies. So let them receive Mahaprabhu's message and let them educate the world. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur did all he could. He wrote many books. He wrote in a language that the common people could understand. But he could understand himself that this order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is too much. How will it be fulfilled? Of course, the pure devotee has faith in the order of the Lord. Whatever the Lord has said will come to pass. Then he prayed. He prayed to Lord Jagannath. He prayed that if I am to do this work, then I need help. You please send me a son, a child that can help me to execute this order. So Srila Bhakti Sarvajna Thakur appeared in this world. Srila Bhakti Sarvajna Thakur himself, a very elevated personality. We see from childhood his ability to fix his mind on how to engage himself. You know the pastime where he took the mango which was meant to be offered to the deity. He's a child, but then he was chastised that this was meant for the Lord and you have enjoyed it before it was offered to the Lord. And as a child already he made a vow that I'm an offender. I enjoyed that which was meant for the Supreme Lord. Therefore, throughout my life, I will not eat mango. So powerful vow. Not a vow that many can take, and this is just a mango. If we included an extra vow, which my Guru Maharaj used to say, you know, we've lost so many devotees. Why should we bother people? Say, no chocolate. Can you imagine an ISKCON where there's daggers out for those who eat chocolate? Many would be like, keep your ISKCON, you know. Maybe let me join Gaudiya Math. Only to find that maybe more. So he took that vow, Ekeha Kurunandana, very determined. He was a Gnostic brahmachari. He was such a scholar that when he was doing his studies in astrology, he became so expert at Jyotisha that he was invited to defend the Indian style of astrology because the British were there and they were now pushing that forget whatever you are learning from the Vedic scriptures. Yes, this Surya Siddhanta is not really bona fide, and they were pushing for a Western type of astrology. But then the leader of, you could say, those who were converting to a Western style came and debated with practically like a 19-year-old Bhakti Sarvajna. It said when he defeated him, the potency of his words is that Acharya, he lost the ability to hold on to his bowels. So they don't call him Lion Guru for nothing. That he spoke so powerfully, he couldn't control his bowel, embarrassed. So this Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, he took a vow to also fulfill the order of his father, who was fulfilling the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to spread the holy name in every town and village. For him to be ready to do this work, he took a vow to chant 1 billion names of Krishna. Billion. So we see sometimes videos showing the difference between, say, 1 million and 1 billion. That 1 billion is really, it's a huge number. It's a huge number. And he went and had a makeshift hut, and he was chanting every day. Come hot weather, rainy weather, it didn't matter. It took him practically like 10 years or so. So if you try to consider the gravity of this order and the determination and the purity of these devotees to fulfill this order, that you take 10 years out of your life and you sit in some makeshift hut, practically living in a forest, to chant the holy name. 1 billion names, 10 years. Because he is showing us that unless one is empowered by Lord Krishna, one cannot spread the holy name of Krishna. We require the mercy of the Supreme Lord. But at the same time, we are seeing that the faith in the order of the Supreme Lord and the faith in the order of Guru is what drives the lives of the Vaishnavas. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta eventually started the Gaudiya Math. Before he did that, as they say, if you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. So he was not planning to fail, therefore he was studying the environment. How can I create a situation where I can successfully spread the holy name of Krishna? It said that when he went to South India and he saw the devotees in the Sri Sampradaya, he saw that amongst their ranks, those who were wearing saffron, they were being respected. And the Vaishnavas at that time, you hardly found, there was no saffron. From Goswamis onwards, they just took Babaji Vesh. Even Bhakti Vinod Thakur was in white dress. So Bhaktisiddhanta understood, okay, saffron is respected naturally by the people. So he adopted this. He also studied the Indian railway system and Indian rail. And he saw that Indian rail was quite efficient. They've got this whole network of railway throughout India, and it's going on year after year. But when he studied how they were functioning as an organization, he saw, okay, there is no one boss. It is run by many managers who cover different regions. And that's when he saw the concept of a GBC. They had a governing body commission. So he resolved that he will start his Gaudiya Math and it will be governed in such a way that he would wear saffron, and not only that, he did something which still today some groups of Vaishnavas still criticize. He understood, okay, saffron is respected, sannyas is respected, and so he sat before a picture of Srila Kishore Das Babaji, and those who had seen him earlier, when they saw him later, he was in sannyas vesh, he was now a sannyasi. Hey Baba, how did you just become a sannyasi like this? So what and how he took that sannyas is understood by Krishna himself and Srila Kishore Das Babaji. But because of the obvious potency and purity of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, nobody really objected or challenged that, openly at least. Because if you were to challenge him, he was, he's very powerful at dealing with opposition. He's known as the Lion Guru. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is now coming from Mayapur, and he is at Ultadanga Junction in Calcutta. He is also completely dedicated to spreading and fulfilling the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the order of his own father, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He has a mission that is thriving. Then our Abai, who was a young man at the time, I think he was 25. Earlier we heard from Keshav Swami, about 25. Some people, well, he quoted, who did he quote? If you don't remember, it's not a problem. Whose quote was it? Benjamin Franklin. It's all about the Benjamins, they say. So, some people die at 25, and they actually are just existing until the actual bodily death. Abai, his friend, is insisting, there's a sadhu you have to meet. Sadhu. Oh, yeah, there's a sadhu. You have to meet him. I'm tired of all these sadhus. I've seen so many that were bogus. His father used to host all types of saintly persons. And as a young man, you observed that some were less than what he expected of sadhus. But his father simply wanted to get the blessings that let my son become a devotee of Srimati Radharani. So, reluctantly, Abai went with his friend to go and see the sadhu. When they got there, tradition is that you offer respects. And before they even exchange any words, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur acknowledged that you are a young, educated man. Preach the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in English in the Western countries. So, Bhaktisiddhanta is quick draw. He didn't waste any time. As soon as he saw this young man, he understood their potential and immediately gave a life's vision, another impossible order. Immediately, Abai felt, what? Preach in the Western world in English? We have local problems. This was his thinking. We are all under the subjugation of the British. You are talking about preaching in the Western world. Who will hear us? Who will hear us? We hear of people wanting their voices to be heard. So the young people of India were feeling that our voice will not be heard unless we free ourselves from this type of subjugation. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told him, look, politicians will come and go, but politics will always remain. Making this nice distinction we heard earlier about material revolution and spiritual revolution. Part of that material revolution is hung up on the political machinery. So politics, as they say, is a dirty game. There's no honor amongst thieves. There's always the lobbyists, and they always get what they want because they are paying for getting those types of policies. And so Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was bringing Abai and his friend to the next platform. That all these material solutions, especially what you are thinking and hoping in what Gandhiji is offering you, they're not going to solve the actual problems. That if you want to help humanity, then take this message of Chaitanya Dev. It cannot wait, and it does not depend on the material circumstances. It doesn't matter. So, Srila Prabhupada, Abai at the time, he heard the sadhu. Eventually they left, and he was saying that actually, from that day on, I accepted Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur as my spiritual master because he had defeated me. So he now has an order to fulfill. He's just a young man. He quit his Scottish college career. At least he didn't get his degree, he didn't pick it up because as a revolutionary, we don't want your degrees. If you hear the older devotees, even wait till the 80s, you still find devotees that burnt their degrees and diplomas, who even went as far as changing their legal names to their devotional names. I know our Bhakti Narasimha Swami. He was initiated Jagat Guru Das, and in his passport is now Jagat Guru Das. And every time, we get into India, sometimes the officials, sort of look at him a bit like Mr. Dash. In West Bengal, what type of Dash is this? Because he's got an African body, Bhakti Sarvajna Swami. But because he's now is dressed in Vaishnava Vesh, Sannyas Vesh, then they can understand, okay, Sannyasi, he must have changed his name. So that type of commitment to sort of burn the bridges to your previous life, he had done that. But still, he hadn't found the real solution. So he took that order from Bhaktisiddhanta, he kept in his heart, and he thought of ways how to fulfill it. As you all may be aware and may also believe, that money is the honey. Yes, money is brighter than sunshine. It's better to be sad and broke and heartbroken and crying in a Maserati than in a Toyota. So give me the opulence first. This is better than anything. Keep your love. Love won't pay the bills. So we've made money God. Yes, one comedian said, I was looking for God, but I didn't realize that He was in my pocket. So in God we trust. It's supposed to mean let's trust the Supreme Person. But people looked at that dollar bill long enough and thought, yeah, I trust in God. This is said by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta also, honoring mature psychology, that two things are real in this world. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The holy name and cash in hand. So even that now is getting corroded. Cashless society is on its way, loading. You go to Scandinavia, you can taste it. You go to China, they wonder, what? You want money for what? Everything has become cashless. So even that cash in hand reality is no longer reality, it's an illusion. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta made that indelible mark in Srila Prabhupada's heart. And he thought, okay, let me make money. I'll start a business. He was in the pharmaceutical industry. He worked with Mr. Bosch, some intrigue, politics at work. There's always politics, right? And he was blamed for something, so he lost the job. He started his own. It seemed to go up. Then it all collapsed. And then at home, he was trying to preach from home, inviting his god brothers. But the apple of his eye was not for that idea. The wife didn't like this life of, why you want to be a sadhu? Why you want to preach so much? And he tried many things, but he could not make the money. He lost everything. But he didn't lose his determination to fulfill the order of his spiritual master. So Srila Prabhupada said, when he had read the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to the Bhagavad Gita 241, wherein he says that the disciple should mold his life in such a way that 24 hours he does not forget the order of the spiritual master. He was enthused by this, because he had also met his spiritual master at Radhakund towards the end of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's life. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had expressed with a broken heart that I've opened this Bagh Bazaar temple, big marble temple, and all that is happening is that my men are now fighting about who will possess which room. I heard here we've got what? 10-1, 6-1 ratio of bathrooms. It's always the concern of humanity, how to find my comforts. So Bhaktisiddhanta understood, I have sannyasis and brahmacharis, they are meant to be missionaries, but now, since there's this beautiful marble temple, now they are fighting about which room will I stay in. So he said to Abhay Charanaravindra that I'm thinking I should just strip this temple of all the marble, sell it, and print books with the money. Then he told him also at that time that if you ever get money, print books. So Srila Prabhupada also got another order from his Guru Maharaj, which he cherished within his heart. So we are seeing that Srila Prabhupada, what he manifested as the ISKCON movement that we see, is the result of the Lord's desire, the Vaishnavas in Parampara's desire, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his Guru Maharaj's desire, and he himself, aboard Jaladuta, taking on so much difficulties, heart attacks. At the end, he has no money, really. He tried to distribute back to Godhead. It wasn't profitable. At that time, there's the war, so there's not even paper to print this back to Godhead. When we think back to Godhead, we see this beautiful magazine that we have now. But his Back to Godhead was just a few pages, if not 2-3 pages of something. But he could not even get paper to print. He was going out to Delhi. We've been experiencing a bit of El Nino, so very high temperatures around Europe. Prabhupada, this is the life of Delhi in summer. Still he was out there. He didn't have Pandav Sena to make a whole campaign 4 or 2 about distributing for the month of December. Even if you distribute 10 books, right? So many campaigns are there. We applaud everyone for distributing just one book. This is wonderful, it's glorious. Prabhupada is alone. He has nobody, no team to go out and help him. But what is fueling him? That yasyat prasadat bhagavat prasada, yasyat prasadat nagati kutopi. He understood true and well. There is no pleasing the Supreme Lord without pleasing the spiritual master. And what is the pleasure of the spiritual master is that the disciple is able to carry out the orders of Godhead, because the spiritual master is the via medium of the will of God. He is simply amplifying the orders of the Lord. And like we have amplifiers. India, they know a lot about amplification. Everything is nice and super loud. So Guru is like that amp. Lord Krishna has spoken. And Guru himself is a disciple. That's what makes one a Guru. One who has successfully followed his spiritual master becomes a Guru himself or herself. So in this way, Srila Prabhupada has the mercy of all the Parampara of the Supreme Lord. Because in Chaitanya Mangala, we hear how Lord Chaitanya tells Narada Muni that even if the people flee to the Western worlds, not wanting to follow my orders, I have my Senapati Bhakta, and he will go and find them even if they flee. So we see that Srila Prabhupada has been chosen for this special service. And when he incorporated this movement, as we were hearing, that international society seemed like a joke even to his disciples, because they were in some small storefront and they were thinking, Swamiji, talking about international society. Anyway, everyone is allowed to dream, right? But Prabhupada sitting on a park bench in his thoughts, being asked by one gentleman, what is on your mind? Why you sit here? He said, well, I'm thinking, I have my movement. I have temples and farms and schools, and he could see that when he had nobody in Mayapur, in New York. So we'll just end by one other impossible order, seeing that it is the method of the Parampara, right? We'll tell a little story. How by the harbor, somehow or the other, some people had gathered there because someone had been pushed into the harbor and they were drowning. And true to Kali Yuga form, everyone had their phones out and they were recording this. It's going to go viral. Just see, this man is like drowning like anything. And then while they were watching, then they heard another man had got into the water. So, people were clapping. This man rescued the drowning guy, came out with him, and the reporters had come. These days, everybody's a reporter. Got your road mic and your phone, and so what happened? You are a hero, you saved this man. But the hero was looking very upset. Sir, you helped him. What do you have to say? He said, no, I'm just upset. Why are you upset? You've done such a wonderful thing. No, I'm upset because, somebody pushed me in. So he was pushed in. He wasn't a willing rescuer. So Srila Prabhupada said when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta would come in his dreams to tell him to take sannyas, he says, I was horrified. I have my wife, I have my children, I have my business, take sannyas. I was horrified, but he kept on coming, calling me. So he was pushed to do it. So the Parampara is a Parampara of pushing people. Just yesterday I was smiling and having a little talk with Swayambhava and Keshav Maharaj that he has been pushed. And once you are pushed, you have to do something. And we appreciate this being pushed. So Srila Prabhupada must have been 71, 73. I'll check the date. Los Angeles. So he had done his translations of Chaitanya Charitamrita, but then, am I there? He had done his translations, and when he checked with the BBT disciples of his, they were saying to be able to get everything printed was going to take them like 17 months. So they were sort of walking at Venice Beach, and Rameshwar Swami was giving this feedback to Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada, everything is upside down. The staff we have, the machinery will take us about 17 months. And Prabhupada, just stopped and stuck his cane in because he said it's impossible to do. Prabhupada said, I've done everything. I want you to complete this publishing and printing within 2 months. So they're projecting 17 months. Prabhupada says he wants it in 2 months. And when Rameshwar was trying to make the case that this was impossible, and Srila Prabhupada said, impossible is a word found in a fool's dictionary. So they also received an impossible order. They're reporting how the pressure that they were under is inexplicable. Prabhupada, it's as if he had a whip in his hand and he was whipping them, just with his following up and checking up. So all the devotees who were involved in BBT, they had this marathon. And they were able to complete this publishing of Chaitanya Charitamrita within that 2 months. They don't know exactly how. Most of the time they felt that they were practically sleepwalking. But this being pushed is what the Parampara is about. And these orders that seem impossible from the spiritual master are always pregnant with the mercy to be able to accomplish it. We may not know how it will happen, but because ultimately the Supreme Lord is the ultimate doer. He's the one who is in charge. So one who's willing to take that order on their head, he or she becomes successful by the grace of Guru and Krishna. So we just wanted to look back at how did Prabhupada come to start this movement and reach out to fulfill this impossible order. And Srila Prabhupada himself said, Mahaprabhu didn't spread it everywhere. He left the work for the devotees. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is Vaishnav, he could have spread it everywhere, but he left it for us. So Srila Prabhupada, he did what his contemporaries, Srila Swami was saying, and other Gaudiya Sannyasis, this you hear in the book by Mula Prakriti Mataji, Srila Prabhupada, a friend to all, that they knew of this Prithiviti Acharya Nagaradigram, and they all just took it. It's a prophecy, but it has nothing to do with us, because it's impossible. Who can fulfill this? But Abai, he was always, anyone he met, his anxiety was that his Guru Maharaj has ordered him to preach in the English-speaking world and how he should do that. He's preparing to do that. He wants to do that. And they felt that, Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta, he said this to everyone, but why are you so, taking it so seriously? They didn't think it was possible. But when he started to bring disciples into India, in Vrindavan, he did the impossible. Krishna Balaram Mandi, Surabi, Bharadraj, they were under the whip of Srila Prabhupada's order. He wanted the temple. Somehow or the other, they said it was ready when it was not. Prabhupada came back, he was triple, double, quadruple angry, fired them, and eventually they got it done. And he was having his procession around Vrindavan, and everyone could see that he has done it. Became very obvious he has done it. So this empowerment is what is available in this movement, and it comes with sometimes something which seems impossible. For some of you, chanting 16 rounds and 4 regs may seem impossible. If you're first coming here, what? They chant 2 hours. But later on, you will be teaching others to chant this. So if you just apply yourself to fulfill the orders of Srila Prabhupada, then he will empower, Krishna will empower. Srila Prabhupada ki.